Welcome, everyone. My name is Stephanie Tauber-Gomez, and I work at Digital Switzerland, where I co-lead the area of collaborative innovation. Usually, what I do is not work from such a fancy studio like this one, but with different organizations to jointly create innovative solutions for the challenges that we're facing today. These can be, for example, how to create, an eID, or how to improve the healthcare system in Switzerland. But today I'm here to present to you the Startup Battle 2021. The Startup Battle is Digital Day's stage to promote and support Swiss entrepreneurs and startups. But more than just this, it's about as well sharing this entrepreneurial spirit, this curiosity to not simply accept how things are today, but always strive for better solutions. In light of this, I am super happy to have been able to present to you already 11 startups. Is that right? In total, there's 15. And we have another 3 that we will be presenting to you today. You, dear audience, have the chance to vote for your favorite startup and help them to get a spot at the finals on November 10th. For this, you can go to our webpage on digitaltalk.swiss/startupbattle. I'm happy to not be presenting all of these startups by myself, but to have my colleague here with me, Matthias Zwingli, as well working at Digital Switzerland, Head of Startup Ecosystem Enablement. So Matthias, you've been working a lot with startups, you've been involved in the whole ecosystem for quite a while now. What would you say should be the next step to really elevate this ecosystem moving into the future?
Thanks so much, Stephanie. It's an absolute pleasure and a very good question. So I think Switzerland, we, since almost as old as Stefan Curial we had last session, it's around 10 years, we're really moving this ecosystem to maturity. And you see now a lot of scale-ups, and I think the next step we really should approach is make them bigger, make them world-known, and create the next Facebook, Google, and Amazon made in Switzerland. So I think that is the next goal, and that's where we actually look for and after.
And because we are talking about the further developments of the Swiss startup ecosystem, it's not only the 2 of us here today, right?
No, we brought some guests, and I really have an absolute pleasure to introduce Sylvain Krähenbühl. He's a successful entrepreneur himself. He sold Gym Hoppers in 2018 to MyClubs, and he is the host of the Swisspreneur Show, #1 business podcast in Switzerland. So you know what it means to talk to insightful and inspiring entrepreneurs. I think you had them all. And still some are missing, but you will get them. Brings me to my question. Thinking back of all your interviews you had, what was the biggest learning or takeaway of these entrepreneurs?
I think most of them actually started solving their own problems. So that's the biggest motivator to actually say, hey, that's why I do the whole thing, but that's also the one reason why they can navigate through difficult times. So solving your own problems is the best way to go about starting a company.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I think it's always a roller coaster, how they always say, so you have to be prepared for everything. Thanks so much for being here. Next up, I have the pleasure to introduce Isabel Chukmal. She's the CMO of Green Global Exchange and an entrepreneur herself. And I heard you are not just funding startups, but also active in the bush in Botswana. So maybe it brings me to my question. What did you learn in this environment that helps you in the startup jungle in Switzerland?
Yeah, well, as a safari guide and as an entrepreneur, I actually learned it's quite similar. You're often out of comfort zone in the Swiss ecosystem or as an entrepreneur, and also in the bush in Botswana. And also it takes courage to be out of comfort zone, and especially during this stage to truly believe in yourself. I think that's the biggest step you have to take in both worlds.
I couldn't agree more. I think you will get a lot of feedback during your entrepreneurial career, and you have to handle the good and the bad and take away what makes sense for you. So, good point. And I would say that brings us to our guests of honor today, the startups themselves, the entrepreneurs, the crazy guys and girls. And it's an absolute pleasure today to introduce Ava X and its co-founder, Tobias Bollinger. Ava X is a Swiss startup addressing the facial recognition issue. So with AI, you learn who is in front of the camera or behind the camera. And before I jump into that, I mean, I'm really bad in names, so I wanted to ask you, what's your private trick? How do you remember faces, or do you have a trick?
I'm actually really bad when it comes to faces, so probably I chose the right job and found a solution, like it was said, that helps my own needs.
So I think we already have it, solving your own problems. So I think you did a good job in choosing that.
For sure.
And, well, the stage is quite simple now, so you'll have to pitch for 90 seconds, convince us, the audience, the experts, and then we hopefully see you again in the final. The stage is yours.
Thank you. I don't need a key. I have my face. I don't need a ticket. I have my face. I don't need a QR code. I have my face. We at AvaX from Winterthur have researched, trained and developed an artificial intelligence concerning facial recognition that sets new standards when it comes to speed and reliability. We identify faces within less than 0.1 seconds. And in the global benchmark labeled Faces in the Wild, we even beat mighty Google with an accuracy of 99.81%. Our product was developed for the use by intelligence and law enforcement services. But why should such a reliable AI only benefit government authorities when it can help solve everyday problems? Therefore, the last year, we expanded our product line and we added new solutions that allow or bring more safety and comfort to big events, hotels, or other big venues, or that help you with smart access systems that are completely contactless in times like today, an important feature. Our latest product, the COVID Certificate Checker, enables a really fast, reliable, and above all, customer-friendly 3G verification with facial recognition. Artificial intelligence is not something from the future. It has become a part of our daily life. So who are you going to trust when it comes to AI? AvaX, 100% Swiss-made artificial intelligence from Switzerland.
Well, thanks a lot, Tobias. I think you've touched upon quite a lot of keywords that not only instill a trust in us, so how to not make it end up as one of these dystopias. We all, I think, remember 1984, funny enough, one of the books that sold the most in the last few years. So, well, together with Isabel and Sivan, we'd like to go down to the bottom of how are you going to ensure that it's not going to end up in such a dystopia. Who of you would like to start first?
Yeah, thank you very much. For me, it's just a question. I mean, you mentioned all the big players. How are you going to fight or go against the big players?
I think we proved that you don't have to be big to be smart. So I'm lucky and have a team of exceptional AI researchers that went new ways, knowing why other solutions failed. So we knew about these biases. We knew about the struggle to build an equilibrium when building a training platform so that you can tackle these biases that are in the intelligences used by the big ones right now. And at the same time, limit yourself on just one fact. So we're not like others trying to identify you. So our solution cannot be pointed at anybody and it would tell you the identity. No. Our goal is to make the technology that is best in recognizing if two faces belong to each other or not. So to grant you access to a door, to grant you access to an event without having to know who you are We're not even saving an image of the face of the person. So it's completely private.
And that makes you fully GDPR compliant. So I think that's also an added value.
Exactly.
In that regard, I wonder, you mentioned AI is an important technology that you use and leverage. Many people out there heard about AI, but how does that actually show in practice? So how is AI implemented in your product? How do you actually use it in your daily operations?
In our daily operations, so I see it in our customers that use it for law enforcement investigations. It allows them to handle huge amounts of data that would not be looked at right now because it would be a manual work. So it allows them to structure big data in a smart and efficient way, and it brings a whole new result to police investigation, pointing out the points where the investigator should look closer and invest its time.
And in that regard, if I may ask a follow-up question, you mentioned you started with the law enforcement agencies, but now you have so many different fields where your technology could be used. So how do you actually elaborate which is the best fit for your technology and the potential business model behind it?
Yes, we looked at the market, and if we look at the example of COVID, that was really something where we realized that with this certificate, if it really comes to the point where we're at now, where we should be showing our certificate every day, several times, just to get to a place, and this repeatedly. So even if I've been to a place before, I would have to show it again. And by introducing face recognition just for the means of this control, or getting rid of a second and third control, speeds up processes without touching in any privacy concerns.
We also talk now about business model, but who is the founder, or who are you and your founder team or founding team behind this company?
So I always say it needs a smart brain and an entrepreneur. And that's how it started. We actually have an entrepreneur that really loves having ideas. He's like Elon Musk for us. He's the inspirer. But at the same time, it wouldn't have been possible with the second most important person, which is our head of research, who was the one who came up with this new way of mapping a face and identifying faces. And probably two people who would never have met in real life if there would not have been this magical moment who brought these two together.
Tobias, thank you so much for presenting to us the solutions that AvaX can bring. For you and your team, best of luck.
Thank you very much.
And see you soon.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Matthias, are you ready to present to us the second startup of today?
Of course, of course. So next up, I have the pleasure to introduce Dependent and its co-founder, Lucien Moser. Dependent designs and sells unmanned drones ground handling systems. In short, they enable drones to fly 24/7, 365 days a year without any human contact. So that sounds almost as science fiction as a hologram. So Lucien, my question comes to mind. What's the fascination with drones and optimization? Where does that come from? Have you seen an UFO?
Yeah, so I've been grown up in the drone environment, and I've always been playing. I have, I think, like 10 drones at home, and always struggling with batteries, with changing payloads. And I said, yeah, we need something to change that.
So you automate the whole process so that no malfunctioning because of human interaction is possible.
Exactly. Fully automated.
Perfect. Well, let's go to this fully automated future. You have 90 seconds. Convince the audience. Have fun.
Thank you. So most professional drones require frequent and intensive ground handling to swap batteries, exchange payload or sensors. This human intervention can represent up to 80% of the mission time and dramatically limits the impact drone can have. So our mission is to enable ground handling to be truly unmanned and remote, making drone operations safer, faster, longer, and with a broader reach. With our D-Log1 unmanned ground handling station, we offer all types of professional drones a replacement solution in less than a minute of their batteries and payload, allowing them to safely carry out their mission 24/7, fully autonomously. So far, we have developed and patented our prototype and consolidated a sales pipeline of 1 million Swiss franc. So our vision is to provide the best systems and be a leading operator of drone stations. The objective is to create more than 32 workplaces in Switzerland and around the world, and install 200 stations by 2025. So we are currently fundraising. So if you're an investor, I'll be happy to talk with you. And yeah, high automation of flight systems and the reduction of human intervention are key factors for the drone market to scale and to move forward. So this is exactly why you should vote for Dependent.
Lucia, thank you so much for presenting Dependent. So basically what you're trying to do is flying off with the whole drone industry by providing everything around it. But I'm still interested to hear how exactly you want to achieve these ambitious goals. So I hand over to my two experts. Sylvain, would you like to start getting to the bottom of it?
Sure. So I think that's a really great addition to the strong ecosystem of drones here in Switzerland. You mentioned the sales pipeline. Who are your customer who actually buys your services, your products in the end?
That's a very good question. So we first focus on drone manufacturers and system integrators. This is where we can do volumes, and this is by integrating their drone, and that they will provide this in their global offering.
Great.
I mean, we talked about the drones, but the law system and everything it's sometimes quite regulated where you are allowed to fly these drones. And then me as a safari guide background, I also have to ask, it's not always quite nice for the animal, it's quite disturbing.
Yeah.
So how do you handle those rules or problems in the future?
So we start in domains where we have easier access to the sky. So we work with police or safety troops to enable faster research or provide better services. And these type of entities have easier access to airspace. And this is where we start.
Mm-hmm. And I can also ask a quick question. You mentioned you're fundraising at the moment. How are you fundraised until now, and how much money are you looking for today?
Thanks for the question. So, so far we have raised $250,000 equity-free funding through public help, but also from co-founders. And now we look to raise $1 million by the end of the year, and through SIGSTIC, for example, that would be a good start.
I mean, the idea about this battery change and everything could also be, you can also integrate it in other sectors, for example. Is this also an idea where you want business to grow, or are you going to still keep it with the drones, or is it something you think about other batteries?
Yeah. Absolutely, that's a good point. So already in drones there are so many applications. You have everything. So we will start with that, but we will not stay in this security or safety environment. But we will grow into other verticals such as agriculture or delivery, already in drones. But we have had contact with one Swiss startup who is doing robots to deliver parcel, and we are exploring some opportunities together with them as well.
Maybe lastly, what I would love to hear from you, Sylvain, really using the variety of stories you've heard from other founders, is there maybe any sort of like nugget of advice that you would like to give Lucien for his upcoming funding round?
I mean, I think they already do a very great job in the focus that they have, but what we most often hear is really focus on one specific market at first, one segment to address, and then grow after you master it right in there. So despite all the attractive options that you have, I think it really pays off to focus on one segment first, then expand only after you really master it and have a huge market share in there.
Well, definitely not so easy when there's so many opportunities that you feel like they're so easy to reach. But yeah, we very much hope that you independent can focus on one solid case and with this attract the funding needed to then seize all the other opportunities. So thank you very much, Lucien, for being here.
Thank you.
And best of luck to you and your team. And we are already at the end, almost, right?
And now the last startup of the whole series so far, number 15. We made it happen, and I have the absolute delight to welcome Amplify and its co-founder Leila Delarive. Hope I pronounced that right. Amplify is a digital platform to launch digital ad campaigns as simple as possible. So that is really promising. So I sometimes struggle with my Google Ads campaign, so I have to come to you.
Yeah, welcome. Yes.
Good. We talk later. Maybe one question I wanted to ask you, Leila, what inspired you to go this entrepreneurial path?
Well, I am really an advocate, in my heart. And if you really want to see the impact you're creating in the world, you have to be an entrepreneur. Therefore, for me, there was not even a choice. It was a mission.
That's good. So you have the mission, and I hope you pitch this mission now.
Yeah.
So you have the same, the stage is yours. You have 90 seconds. Convince the audience, the experts, and us.
Thank you. At Amplify, we are on a mission. Together with my team, we want to empower the voiceless. Who are they? They are our 400,000 small businesses, the core of our economy, the one with whom we interact in our everyday lives, grocery stores, bakeries, restaurants, hairdressers, and so on. And we all want them to flourish, to attract new customers, to retain them. And one of the most powerful ways to achieve that is to use digital advertising. Yet, many small businesses have no time, they have not an experience, and they have little money to use digital advertising. They will try to go on Facebook, on Google Ads, they will spend 100 francs, and they will give up because they don't see the results, and they will miss those great opportunities. But this is the past. Now we have Amplify, a smart automated solution that helps small businesses to create and to run impactful ad campaigns within one click on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google Ads, and all that for only 39 francs per month. And guess what? Our happy customers can now do what they love. They can take care of their business and of their customers. I can proudly say today that nearly 1,000 small businesses have boosted their business with Amplify. And we will not give up before the 399,000 others join us. So let's amplify for the good of our SMEs and for our economy.
Thank you so much, Leila. You definitely are a woman on a mission.
Yeah.
So, already 1,000 small businesses on Amplify. I'm wondering what Sylvain and Isabel will be asking you to figure out how you get the other
399,000.
on Amplify too, exactly.
Thank you very much, Mayasa. First, so you want to help those people to attract more clients. How do you get your clients? Is it through also digital ads, or are you also having a sales team going to the clients directly?
So we have really a dual approach. We started with digital conversion, with our own, I would say, advertising. The thing is that we have attracted those early adopters, the first 1,000 ones, and they are already digitized. Now, when we talk about 399 other small businesses, they're not all digitized, and you have to use the same language to talk to them. Therefore, we also have a sales team that goes and visits those users. But it's really a dual approach. And then once we have onboarded these less digitized or non-digitized users, they are on board, and then they can use our automated solution.
So I guess for the digital acquisition, you use Amplify yourself.
We do use Amplify, of course, and especially because we can also have Google Ads and Facebook Ads, and so we can really do the mix of all these digital strategies.
Amazing. And I wonder if we take a step back, some people might think, I have my own business, I have my clients, why should I invest money in a digital marketing campaign? Why should they do that in the first place? What would you respond to them?
Well, you have seen that there is a democratization going on. You can go on Facebook and boost, and that's what I said in my pitch. Everybody thinks, oh, I just need to put 50 francs, I boost, and nothing happens. And it's a real science behind digital marketing. It's not that easy. And if you want to go into all these dashboards and put the right metrics, it takes ages. You get lost, and then you will give up. So that's really the way that we have built our platform, designed it, and programmed it is really meant to simplify, but also bring a great ROI for those small budgets. And that's why we're not talking about advertising anymore, but about amplification, because it's really a method that we have built here.
Yeah, I'm just curious because, I mean, it's crazy how you normally go into all the algorithms of the systems and the networks. But how do you do this with a platform? And it's $39 per month, right? That's just the fee. And then I add there the amount I want to use for the advertise, for example.
Exactly.
I mean, how do you cover your own costs if you have sales team, then someone who is actually taking care? That's like a whole agency, no?
Well, I mean, 80% of the work is automated. So everything that relates to creating the ad, just choosing the right message and the image, is still a human that is controlling. And we need to control also to make sure that the ad campaigns are legal and they are in accordance with the policies of those platforms. But then from there, when we have accepted, everything is automated. Therefore, that's how we can really be competitive on the costs, because the distribution and our own distribution algorithm that then sets the budget between the different platforms is fully automated.
And there are also big success stories that really focus on this Switzerland SME system, like Clara or Bexio, for example. So I'm really eager to see another success story there. Can you talk a bit more about the team behind Amplify who will make that happen?
So we are a mix. We are entrepreneurs to start with, and we also have a strong dev team in-house. So everything is fully 100% Swiss-made, and it's also the background of the other co-founders. They're coming from the digital platform ecosystem. So there was a good understanding of the needs and how to build those platforms, how to integrate into these distribution channels. And so that's how we, a mix of advocates, entrepreneurs, and tech people, that makes probably the beauty of Amplify.
Maybe, actually, as a last question, I would like to ask you something. Leila, where would you like to see Amplify in 5 years' time?
For sure, before 5 years, at least, we want to really have those, the 399,000. It's not just a buzzword, it's a reality. If we can become the Bexio of digital advertising, that would be really great. And then expand further outside Switzerland, why not? I mean, we shouldn't be shy, but I'd rather really concentrate on our own country, and then we can decide to go further with the good partners, strategic partners, investors, then we can make it.
So the Swiss humbleness is definitely there at Amplify. Fingers crossed that you make it even outside of Switzerland in 5 years' time.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, Leila. Best of luck to you and your team at Amplify.
Thank you.
And we are already at the very end of the last episode of the Startup Battle before we head to the finals. And in order to make sure that you actually see the startups you'd like to see at the finals, please go now to our website, digitaltalk.swiss/startupbattle, and vote for your favorite startup to help them and get a spot on the finals on November 10th. I would like to thank all the entrepreneurs, so Tobias from AvaX, Lucia from Dependent, and of course, Leila from Amplify, for having shared your entrepreneurial journeys and visions, as well as to my both experts here, Isabelle and Sylvain. And lastly, a big thank you to all of our partners, InnoSwiss, AWS, SIGTIC, Swisscom, and of course, Canton de Vaud. Without you, there wouldn't be the Startup Battle. Thank you very much, and I'm already looking forward to be back here on November 10th for the final of the Startup Battle.